Hello viewers. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the enumerations or enums in C# and their basic operations. So in our day-to-day life coding, we use enum all the time. And just to explain what an enum in very simple language, an enum is basically a special class which contains a number of constants. So for example, say I have an employee application where you can see there is a class called employee where I have some properties of employee like first name, last name, and then one of the property is an employee type. Now I can define an employee type as an integer where I might say, okay, it is an integer and 0 means full-time employee, 1 means contractual or part-time, 2 means contractual. And I know what each integer means, and I can have logic or code all over my place where I can have different logic based on putting like if employee type is 1, do this, employee type is 2, do that, where I know what is 1 and 2 means. But for a user who reads the code, sometimes by looking at 1 or 2 doesn't mean anything. So a good way of doing is create an enum type of employee. So basically I can say I have an enum of employee type where I can define a list of constants. So in this case, so I have 3 types of employee: full-time, part-time, and contractor. And I can assign some values to it. So 0 means full-time, 1 means part-time, and 2 means contractor. I can have the list more as well. And then in the coding, I can now log in the actual employee class. Now I can say, okay, employee type is basically a type of employee type enum. And now I can, when I create an employee, then I can assign the type as employee type dot part-time. So now whenever whoever reads the code, he can understand by reading it's what type of employee it is. And there are some other operations or flexibility of using enum as well. So this is in very simple language what enum is. Now what I'm going to show you, when you have an enum, there are some operations that you can do, some basic operations you can perform on enum, and what are those, and how you can do it. So for example, say I have an employee type of contractor. Now I just define employee type equals employee type dot contractor, right? Now, I might want to know, okay, what is the value of it? What is the enum value of contractor? So for example, in this case, contractor is 2. But how do I get it from an enum type? So the way to get it is just cast the type with an int. So this will return the integer value of contractor, which is 2. So that's one operation. The other one is, how do I get the name of it? So I know the type, but I want to print, or I want to show the actual name of this employee type, which in this case is contractor. And the way to do it is just toString it. The employee type dot toString. This will just print the name of it. Okay, the next thing is, say you have the integer value. So you know, okay, I got an instance where the employee type, or I know the employee type is 1. Now what does 1 means? So you have the integer value and you want to get the name of that enum. How do I do it? So the way to do it is, the enum has a method called getName, and what in the parameter you have to pass the enum type. So what type of enum you want to get the name? So here I'm passing employee type, and then you pass the value. So once you pass value 1, it will return you the name against 1. So in this case, 1 is part-time. Now let's do some casting. So you have the integer value. Now you want to cast an integer to an actual enum type. So what I mean is, like, you have one, you want to cast one to part-time enum, part-time employee type, or you have a integer two, you want to cast it to contractor employee type. Simple, just cast the integer with the employee type. Just in bracket put employee type. This will return you the type employee type who has a value of 2. The same thing, now you have a string name of it and you want to cast it to the enum type. Same thing, you have to parse the name. So the way to parse this is called the enum.parse, and again you have to pass the type of enum that you want to parse the name of, and then you pass the name inside the function, and this will return you the employee type. And then finally you have to cast it to the employee type as well. And finally, what I'm what I want to show you is how, say for example, in you are doing something where you want to go through all the values of an enum and do certain operations. How do you do it? So it's just, there's a method called get values. So you call enum.getValues, and then you just pass the type of enum that you want to go over the values with. So in this case, it's employee type. So this will return each type that you have inside the enum type. So it will go through each type, so full-time, part-time, contractor, and that will return in this type variable. And then you can just display, in this case, I just display the type and then its value. So if I run this, just to show you, so as I already explained, oh, now if I just put this to side by side, so first I'm showing I'm getting the value of employee type contractor, it shows 2. Then I'm getting the name, just contractor. Then I am like, what's the next thing I was doing? Okay, I'm getting the that's the name, and this is, you have an integer, and yeah, you have an integer 1 and you want to get that type of, like, get the name of the employee type who has a value of 1. So in this case it's the part-time. And next, you are casting an integer to an employee type. So 2 means contractor, and then I'm just printing out its contractor, and then I'm casting part-time to the employee type, and then just doing a print, it's showing part-time, and finally iterating over the employee type values. So in this case, it's going through each type and just printing out its type, full-time, and its value, full-time, part-time, contractor. So yeah, these are some of the basic operations that you can perform on enum, and I just listed them together. I hope this will help you working with enum.